Welcome back, guys. This is Legit Lee back again with another video for you. Today we're going to be doing part 3 of the air engine, basically, or it's really supposed to be like a steam engine, but we can be able to use compressed air as well. So if you haven't seen the first video, definitely go back and watch that one. I know it's a little longer than normal, but I mean it definitely would help out, so you won't have to worry too much about trying to figure everything out here. But yeah, other than that, we're gonna just hop into the video. I know you guys don't want to take too long on anything. If you guys are new to this channel, please definitely like, share, subscribe, comment down below, or comment while I'm streaming, whichever one you prefer. I'll definitely be reading the comments while I'm working on this here. So first thing we need to do is start getting our pistons ready. Each cylinder will actually have a piston in it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a 6-cylinder engine basically. So what we're going to do is first we need to figure out the size of this diameter hole so we know which kind of piston size we need for the outer diameter. So what we're going to do is go press 1 on my numpad. Let me just go ahead and get my so you guys can view my stuff here. Here we go. I'm going to hit start that so you guys can see everything that I'm doing here. Let's go back to item. So here we have, I made this in the last video, so we have to make 6 pistons, which is really easy. All we have to do is really just make one and then duplicate that one 6 times, so that will be pretty quick here. This video will just be on making the pistons and probably setting up the whole ball bearing information, because I have skateboard bearings like I mentioned on the previous video. They're just regular skateboard bearings, that 608 ones that you can buy, are relatively cheap. So we're gonna go ahead and start designing now. I'm gonna hit Shift D. Oh no, not D. My mistake. Undo that. We don't need to copy that one. Did I copy it? I don't know if I copied it. Yeah, we copied it. Let's undo that. There we go. Shift A. My mistake. Shift A. We'll do a cylinder, and we're gonna make this cylinder. Well, actually, we can't make it yet. Let's bring it down a little bit. There we go. And we're gonna see what the size is first. So we're gonna hit tab, and then we're gonna zoom in. We'll click on this guy right here, if you guys can see that, and then this one over here. And then all we have to do is go to view. We're gonna go down and hit segment. This is on measure it tools right here, segment, and then we're gonna have to hit show so we can see it. And it's 60 millimeters in diameter, which is good. So we know exactly what our diameter is. So we don't need that right now. We can hide that one. We'll get out of this, go back to one view. So on this guy, we just have to go back to item, and then we'll hit this right here for the dimensions, 60 by 60. And then let's just do 100. Let's just try 100. See what that looks like. Maybe that's a little too big for a piston. We're gonna have to dial it back. Let's try 50. Too small. Probably like 80 would work pretty good. Nah, that's too big. 60 maybe. Yeah, that isn't bad. 60 by 60 by 60. There we go. That'll work. Then we're gonna do our. We'll go on to hit number 3 on your numpad, because now we're in the right orthographic view here. And you're gonna hit R to rotate, and then 90. Type in 90 on your keypad. That'll be 90 degrees. Bring it up by holding Control and dragging it with your mouse pad on these movements. The movement's already pre-selected on mine, but you have to click Move because you're automatically being box select, or one. I think it's box select. So click on that so you can move your stuff around. You'll have these arrows to help guide you to the right position. So if you're not lined up perfectly, you have to zoom in, and so that we get closer and more accurate of view of movement. So now that I zoomed in, I was able to move by millimeters instead of 10 millimeters, because when you're zoomed out, these blocks become 10 millimeters a piece, but when you zoom in, they start becoming 1 millimeter a piece for movement. So now that we have that in place, that looks pretty good. It'll be able to shimmy right through here without any issues going back and forth. That's how a piston works. And so yeah, we got that portion. Now let's see what our picture was looking like for our stuff here. We have pictures already saved. So see, each piston had like a cylinder going on. So I'm not sure if we should make this part of that and then make a piston within this, because if I hide my stuff here, H, you can see that there's these shafts that go on there, and then the cylinders are in that. So maybe we should just make the shafts first. The cylinder part, this part here, for the cylinders to go into. So yeah, we can do that. I'm gonna hide this picture again, then we'll unhide everything. Oh, my mistake. That does unhide everything. Gotta hide these pictures. There. There. Okay, so then we're probably gonna have to make it a little bigger, because we want to make sure that it fits into this slot here. Now we can 3D print where the whole thing comes all the way out, or what we can do is do an indent and then make it so where it attaches to this here. And I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. I think the attachment one will probably be better, to be honest, because then you can 3D print them in parts instead of doing everything all at once, because depending on how big your print bed is, you may not have the space required to print this out. So instead of having to do, you know, one big old piece that your print bed may not have the size for, we can just do smaller pieces. So we'll probably just go with that. I mean, I have a pretty big printer. I have the CR10 and an Ender 3, and I have designed my own 3D printers too. So I mean, I have the ability to have a bigger one if I want to, but I'm not doing that right now. I've been designing a CNC machine in between all this, trying to get some stuff set up, because there's a lot of other things I want to design, which requires a CNC machine for the most part. Anyway, so since this is 60 by 60, we're probably gonna have to make it bigger than that. We want it to kind of not touch this right here, but get close, so probably like half. So if we do like 65 by 65, that actually worked out pretty good. And then we just hit enter. So what we're gonna do with this, since we know it's in the center, because I just measured that out when we moved it, we're just gonna bring this back a little bit so we can have that. See how it's gonna indent in here? It won't bother anything else. And if we look, we have plenty of space. See all that extra space on the sides, or the thickness of the wall? That will allow us to actually slide this cylinder into its socket, basically. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to have to duplicate this 6 times so we can move it around. So we're going to do Shift D to duplicate, and we're going to go on the Y this time, drag it all the way back. It's right there. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. And then we're going to hit Shift A, Shift and click, and then we're going to Shift D, and then we're going to hit R to rotate, and then we'll do 90 degrees. That'll give us those sides, and then we'll do the same thing, but we're going to have to do it. Oh, wait, do I have that right? No, I don't have it right. Hold on. Undo that. We're going to have to rotate. I think it's just a tad because we're going on this side. So I'll do Shift D to duplicate, and then we'll do R30, I believe. No, it's probably 45 or something. I forget. Rotate. Let's try 45. That doesn't look too bad. Now we could check it. Oh no. Messed up. Let's undo that. So Shift E. Then we're gonna do rotate 45. Hit enter. See if that lined up. No. So we're probably at a. Let's see if that was 45. It's probably like a 50 or something. Or probably 60. I'm pretty sure it's 60. So we're gonna have to do a rotate again. So Shift. Oh wait, let me make sure. Yeah, we're good. Shift D to duplicate. Rotate 60. Let's see if that worked. Okay, yep. So it's 60. So that's good. And if you want to repeat that, all you have to do is hit Shift R, and then you have it. So now we have all 6 ready to be booleaned out. And the good thing about it is all you have to do is select them, all of them, really quick. I'm holding Shift and hitting the mouse button, but you guys can see that right here. And then we're gonna right click, and then go to join. So that joined all those objects together as one object. So when we go here, we select this guy, hit this wrench tool here. Then we're going to go to modifiers, hit bowline, grab the eyedropper tool, and just click on one of the cylinders. And you see difference here. Make sure it's on difference. It usually is when you're using bowline when you start off. And then you just hit apply. So once that's done, all you have to do is select these, and then you can delete them. So we'll just hit X to delete, hit OK. And now you see we have that little indent that allows us to put our cylinders in. So that's good. So that means when we're done and we get everything set up, the cylinders will go straight into those sockets and it shouldn't have any issues. And there's enough space for it. So that's good. Now that we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and get the cylinders back, because now we got to make them again. But this time we're going to probably make them just a tad bit smaller, because usually when you're 3D printing something or even cutting something, if it's not exactly precise, especially when it comes to 3D printing, when you print, you're melting plastic, and then when it cools, sometimes it tends to shrink a little bit. So what you want to do is make sure that when you are 3D printing, you you need to think in your mind that you have to compensate for the shrinkage. So whenever I'm doing something that needs to add a part, the part may not exactly fit, because if I put like a 65 millimeter cube or cylinder in here, it may not fit. We will have to maybe like sand off the sides or the cylinder itself. But to compensate, we can just make it a little smaller so we don't have to think about it. It'll help save some time once you're done 3D printing everything. So I'm going to go ahead and add another cylinder here. We'll hit Shift A, and then go to mesh, do cylinder, and then we're going to hit 65. We'll do 64.5. That half a millimeter doesn't make it seem like it's a lot, but it definitely helps make a difference. 64. Bring it over. And then if we go to our front view here, we should line it up correctly. So we'll do wireframe so we can see the wire or the frame of where we're trying to line it up at. So if we just bring it up just a tad. So right there is supposed to be the 65. But you see it has just enough of a space that allows us to kind of go in. You see that little area right here between these two lines. That's the space gap that we're compensating for, instead of it being exactly 65. Another one here in a moment. I'm trying not to make these videos too long, but I mean, obviously there's a lot of information going on in here that you have to kind of think about. But definitely follow along. You guys will be able to make the same thing that I'm doing here. So if you want to make your own little like air engine or something, which will be pretty cool to do, it'll be fully functional when I'm done with it. You guys will be able to make it too. My name is Legit Lee, and I'm signing out.